And happy Valentine's Day,
Oh,
Nithya.
thank you. When I was in school and college, first of all, nobody knew about Valentine's Day when I was young. I used to tell them 14th February. I tried to explain to them what is Valentine's Day. They'd never heard of Valentine's Day. Then, of course, Hallmark cards and all the cards made it the most popular day. Now I can't even mention my birthday. I was thinking Valentine's Day. So everyone knows the day. And then the downside of my birthday was whenever I get a card, I'd be hoping it's a Valentine's Day card or the birthday card. Great. So today we have two things. One is my birthday, and thank you, many of you, for joining today. And I really receive your love and good wishes. And also we are starting a year-long or maybe longer process where we connect on a regular basis. It's about 6 days a week. And that's called Being and Blossoming. And so it's also the first session of the Being and Blossoming group. I wanted to start today with invoking some blessings and a meditation. And then the rest of the call, which is the bulk of the call, will be about some sharing and some discussion. And I wanted to share some of the highlights from my last year. And yeah, just wanted to interact with some of you. So that's the broad agenda for today. I feel like invoking Lord Ganesha. When we start new things, it's nice to invoke Lord Ganesha. So in your own way, if you can invoke Lord Ganesha, whether you think of him or say a mantra to him or sing a song to him, just going to temporarily mute everybody. You can always unmute later. And I'd like you to think of good beginnings, auspicious beginnings, healthy beginnings. Well begun is half done, they say. And also they say that the end is in the beginning. So let's start in an auspicious way with an auspicious mind. Invoking auspicious energy, invoking bright energy, invoking the presence which dispels darkness, dispels doubts, brings up a lot of joy in our life, in our practice, vanquishes one of the deepest programming that we have in our human life as not feeling good enough, not feeling enough. Wiping that out and knowing that we are complete, we are healthy, we are whole, irrespective of what may have happened in our history, we remain a divine mystery. So invoking Lord Ganesha's blessings for today and every day. Inviting Lord Ganesha to be with us in this whole journey, supporting me and supporting everyone in their process. I also find Lord Ganesha to be quite in a way, innocent and playful aspect of the divine. So inviting that innocence and playfulness. There's that story of when the Mahabharata was being written and Lord Ganesha was the transcriber. He was the one writing. and he said that, who was it? Ved Vyas or Valmiki? I'm forgetting. No, Valmiki was Ramayana.
Vedavyas.
Ved Vyas. Ved Vyas, he said, well, you better not stop speaking. or I'll not do this project if you stop speaking. So Ved Vyas, well, how will I take a breath? So he said, okay, but you cannot stop writing. You can only write what you've understood. So whenever he wanted a break, he'd say something more complicated. So Ganesha had to stop and say, what did you just say? Then take a pause and he'd continue. And there's a story of how his pen broke at some point. So then he broke off his own tusk and he continued writing. There's such fun stories about Ganesha. So today morning, I woke up with a very nice thought by Byron Katie. She comes up with some of the most powerful stuff. So here's the thought. The question, does the whole world love you? Does the whole world love you? And she says, yes, just don't expect them to realize it yet. Does the whole world love you? Yes, just don't expect them to realize it. I'd heard another version of this earlier, which she says, when I enter a room, I know everyone loves me. When I enter a room, I know everyone loves me. I just don't expect them to realize it yet. So another version could be, since it's supposedly my birthday, so when I enter this world, imagine if every child entered the world knowing everyone loves me, but they may not have realized it yet. I don't expect them to realize it yet. And this is pointing to what we're going to be exploring this book in a few days. Perfect love, imperfect relationships. In a few days, I'm going to be talking about this book. And he says the biggest problem is that deep down, we feel unloved and unlovable. He calls it the mood of unlove. So now imagine if you thought that everyone loves me, they just don't realize it yet. And I don't expect them to realize it. And then it also goes the other way, right? I love everyone, but I may not have realized it yet. In fact, last night before I fell asleep, I had this deep sense of intuition of oneness, that we're all one, actually. We're playing this game of being this person and that person, and actually we're all one. It's all one fabric. We're different colored threads of one fabric. We're different faces of that one absolute. And so at the level of personality, of course, it's impossible. We will never love everyone. We cannot be loved by everyone. But we are not just our personality. And the more we recognize that, the whole point of even this Being and Blossoming course is recognizing we are more than our personality. We're more than what we think we are. So we're going to start with a meditation, which is also based on the same idea of we are more than what we think we are. So I invite you to sit comfortably or be comfortable. It's a quote I shared a few days back. I felt this is a great one for the first day of Being and Blossoming. So if you want to close your eyes, you can. And it's a quote by Punjaji, who's also lovingly known as Papaji. The one who follows the thought is also a thought. The one who follows a thought is also a thought. The one who follows the thought is in thought. The one who follows the thought is in thought. The one who follows the thought is also a thought. The one who follows the thought is in thought. When you know that both are thoughts, you are home. You're not at home, you are home. The one who follows the thought is also a thought. The one who follows the thought is in thought. When you know that both are thoughts, you are home. You're not at home, you are home. Then allow thoughts to arise and allow them to be followed. You remain as that unmoved and unconcerned being. You remain as that unmoved and unconcerned being. This is the highest understanding. So let me elaborate on this. And I want you to follow what I'm saying experientially as far as you can. So perhaps before you were introduced to any spiritual teachings, you really believed every single thought. You believed what you thought. You believed what other people said about you. That was a very painful experience. Painful because not everything that you think or that other people say about you is very flattering. Many of us have grown up with a very strong voice of an inner critic, judging us, comparing us, berating us. And then somewhere along the way, we came across some wholesome teachings which said, hey, don't believe everything you think. And maybe the first teachings were think better thoughts. That's usually more common. Think better thoughts. Believe in yourself. You can do it. You are good enough. And so affirmations or encouragement, trying to believe in ourselves. And especially if you live in a country like India, I mean, there are countries where you never even hear of this one, but if you're in India or connected to India in some way, chances are you've come across a teaching which said, don't believe your thoughts. So that was the beginning of a very powerful spiritual journey where you question some very fundamental thing. You question your own thinking. You question the thinking of others. You don't take it to be automatically true. Even the people you really respect and maybe even spiritual teachers, you say, all right, that's a perspective. That is a truth. That may not be the only truth. That is a way of looking at it. It is not the way of looking at it. So now what this teaching here is saying is, the one who follows the thought is also a thought. And why is this such an important teaching? Because even after having realized that we need not believe our thoughts, there can be a subtler entity, the spiritual ego. Now I'm on a spiritual path. And that's a much subtler thing. So what he's saying here is, the one who follows the thought is also a thought. Even that spiritual ego is a thought. Even your spiritual identity is just another identity. I hope you've already had this experience. Or if you've not, then I hope you very soon have this recognition that anything you believe about yourself is just a thought. It can simultaneously be quite unsettling and also very liberating. Unsettling for the old you, but very liberating for the true you, which was never limited by any of these ideas. Maybe in a quiet moment, or maybe when reading a book, maybe when introspecting, could be anywhere, of course. This recognition came that, wow, I'm the only one limiting myself, actually. And then not trying to unlimit yourself, but just simply looking beyond it, just seeing through it. The one who follows the thought is also a thought. The one who follows the thought is in thought. Just feel the heaviness of all these thoughts, how they constantly need to be reinforced. For example, someone may have wholeheartedly praised you in your life, but it's not enough. We need to be revalidated again, validate me again. Tell me again I'm good enough. Tell me again I'm good enough. Every birthday, tell me I'm loved. So it constantly needs revalidation. It's so heavy. It's so insecure. It's so fragile. So I invite you to sense something below this, beyond this, behind this, which does not need constant validation, constant refueling, constant upholding. The one who follows the thought is also a thought. The one who follows the thought is in thought. When you know that both are thoughts, you are home. A very auspicious moment. First auspicious moment is when you learn to meditate. What is meditation? In the broadest sense, it is to witness. The first auspicious moment is, whether you call it meditation or not, doesn't matter. Maybe you're an artist. That's your form of meditation. The first auspicious moment of your life is when you learn to meditate. Until then, you are fully stuck. That's a nice word in Hindi, chip code. You were chip code with your thinking. So first auspicious moment is when you learn to meditate. Second auspicious moment is when you look beyond the identity of the meditator. And you look beyond being the witnesser. Second auspicious moment. I wish you both of these auspicious moments again and again and again. Return to center, which means to meditate. Release the center, which means go beyond the meditator. Go beyond the identity of a meditator. When you know that both are thoughts, you are home. You are not at home. You are home. To be at home is to be at a place. And nobody can be at a place forever. You're not at home. You are home. The home you and I are seeking is not somewhere out there. It's not who we need to become. It's who we are. That's the teaching. The one who follows the thought is also a thought. Right now, the one who's listening to this is also a thought. The one who follows the thought is in thought. When you know that both are thoughts, you are home. And this is the moment when you lose your attachment to spiritual paths. In my case, I could no longer limit myself to Buddhism. Because I suddenly recognized that, wow, these are all, each of these different methods in their own way are trying to get you here. They're all loving, they're all compassionate, they're all wise, and they're all also limited, because not everyone will be drawn to everything, no matter how beautiful a path is. When you know that both are thoughts, you are home. You're not at home, you are home. How auspicious to know that our true identity is our home. You don't have to go anywhere. So now comes a beautiful instruction. Then allow thoughts to arise and allow them to be followed. It's not even a problem to follow the thoughts. Wow. Once you've seen this, it's like one of my teachers, Ajahn Brahm, he said, you and I are going in this bus. And there's a problem with this bus. What's the problem with this bus? Whenever the beautiful scenes come, the beautiful parts of town comes, the bus driver goes very fast. And whenever the unpleasant parts come, the smelly parts come, the bus driver goes very slow. This is a very big problem with this bus. Why does he go fast to the good parts and slow through the bad parts? So one day you decide that enough is enough. You're not taking this anymore. You get up and you go to the front of the bus to tell this bus driver, this is not done. This is not okay. But imagine your shock when you get to the front of the bus to realize it's a driverless bus. The bus doesn't have a driver. One of those self-driving buses. Oh my goodness. All this time I'm so upset. But there's no bus driver here. Now you come back and you sit down and you just keep quiet. Enjoy the journey. In the same spirit, Poonjaji says, then allow thoughts to arise and allow them to be followed. Adi Shankara says, Prarabdhaya samarpitam. Prarabdhaya samarpitam. Yesterday, in my case, there was a series of things which happened, which were not very pleasant. It was a whole series, one after the other. Like I was like, what's happening? Why? One of them was I punctured 2 tires at once. Same shot. And then there were 3, 4 other things. I was like, what is this? Why is this happening? And then inside, a part of me smiled and said, Prarabdhaya samarpitam. If this is what is meant to be, then this is what is meant to be. Why fight it? Why fight it? I don't question when pleasant things happen. So why should I question when unpleasant things happen? All right, bring it on. Bring it on. So right in the middle of some of the complication and the heaviness and the whatever was showing up in my consciousness, right in the middle of that, just let go. Right in the middle of it, let go. Don't resolve it. Dissolve it. Imagine there are these There's a powerful word, Gordian knot. Gordian knot. The knots upon knots upon knots. Sometimes you find your shoelaces or the nada of your pajama or something else is all in a big knot. You go to pull out some string, it's in a big knot. So Gordian knot is a Gordian knot is a knot that can't be opened. Sometimes you're in these knotted situations in life, and there's no easy way out. You can't just think or talk your way out of it. So then don't resolve it. Because the more you try to resolve it, the tighter it gets. Don't resolve it. Dissolve it. How do you dissolve it? I like to ask myself, so who's taking delivery of this experience? Experience is here. In this case, it's a little unpleasant. Who is taking delivery of the experience? Of course, I am. What do you mean? Of course, I'm taking delivery of this experience. It's me. I'm the one with the car with 2 punctured tires. And the tow truck that's not responding. It's me. And then the powerful question, so who am I? Who am I? And right away, you in that moment, at least for a moment, maybe it'll come back, that's all right. But at least for that moment, you have dissolved it. You realize it's not a problem. It just is what it is. It's only a problem when you struggle against it. I'll say that again. It's only a problem when you struggle against it, when you resist it. By itself, it is not a problem. Nothing is a problem. It's only a problem when you want it to be otherwise. When you think you're smarter than God. I shouldn't be like this. You shouldn't be like this. Life shouldn't be like this. All right. Then allow thoughts to arise and allow them to be followed. You remain as that unmoved and unconcerned being. And again, this reminds me of the Bodhicitta teachings. And Bodhicitta is one of the deepest levels of trusting. You're trusting your life. You're trusting whatever's showing up in your life. And the reason you're able to trust it is you realize that you're not the only one who's having this experience. If you have even a little bit of maturity, you know that, gosh, we go through similar stuff, all of us. Maybe not in the specifics, but broadly, we go through similar stuff. We go through loss. We go through feelings of being unworthy. We go through doubt. We go through comparison. We go through stickiness and attachment. Buddha says broadly, we go through 3 things. We go through wanting, not wanting, and not knowing. Greed, hatred, and delusion. And everything else is an offspring from these 3. So Bodhicitta says, since we're all going through this, now when I'm going through it, I give it a new meaning. All right, since I'm going through it anyway, let no other being have to go through this. I do it. I go through this on behalf of all others. What an amazing angle. I'm going through it on behalf of everybody else. So whatever my current state of pleasantness or unpleasantness, I'm going through it on behalf of everybody else. This is another way to dissolve it. Don't resolve it, just dissolve it. This is what it means to be a spiritual warrior. Otherwise, you're a spiritual warrior and you're asking, what is the mantra to not allow this to happen? What is the temple I need to go to? What is the gem I need to wear? So these problems don't bug me anymore. Who is the master I need to pray to? This is called being a spiritual warrior. We want you to be a spiritual warrior. Those masters you're praying to, are they not in a bodhicitta state? Are they not saying, all right, I'll experience this on behalf of you. I'll set you free. So then, the biggest compliment you can give them is to be like them, not just to expect them to take it on your behalf. You remain as that unmoved and unconcerned being. So another powerful way of saying this is, a part of you is forever arriving. A part of you is forever arriving. And a part of you never left home. This is a very fascinating way to look at your life. A part of you is forever arriving. That my personality is forever feeling a little bit on edge. Am I good enough? Am I really doing it? Am I really living up to what I believe in? Am I practicing? But even if I am practicing, can I sustain it? Will it go deeper? Where am I getting stuck? Part of you is forever arriving. A part of you never left home because you are home. Experience both these things inside of you. The part that is striving and seeking, the funny thing is, it may not realize that what it is striving towards and seeking it is that. This is the biggest joke of all. This is the joke embedded inside this world. You are what you're seeking. What's that quote? That at the end of all your long journeys, you will arrive at the place you began and see it for the first time. See it with new eyes. In the moment of, we call it, this is again a paradox, we call it self-realization. Self-realization. But what is self-realization? When you are self-realized, the biggest shock is, oh my goodness, I was always self-realized. It's like, it was always there, I just didn't recognize it. It's like a person who's traveling the world looking for his nose. Until someone says, on your face, dude, what's wrong with you? Nose is on your face. What do you mean it's on my face? Really, it's on my face? My goodness, my nose is here. There's a joke, I think you all play this on your friends. Hindi mein kehte hain na, muh pe naak lagi hai, naak lagi. So people think that some snot is coming out of the nose. Muh pe naak lagi hai. Trying to clean the nose. Naak lagi hai. Nose is on your face. The joke we played on each other. So it's something like that. That in the moment of self-realization, it's not like you realize something new. You realize what you always knew. See, if it was to realize something new, it would again be fragile. You could again lose it. The reason it is such ultimate security is you realize, oh my goodness, this is who I am. It's not who I've become, it's who I am. Self-realization is a recognition of who you already are. And then allow thoughts to arise and allow them to be followed. Then allow thoughts to arise and allow them to be followed. So once you have tasted that tasteless taste of your being, now you can function. The word function is nice because it starts with fun. So with the priority of fun, you can function. And the focus shifts from funding to fun doing. How can I fund my lifestyle? How can I fund my family? How can I fund? Funding, shift from funding, which is the paradigm of the materialistic world, from funding to fun doing. What's fun to do? What makes me come alive, in other words? All your questions about purpose of life will dissolve when you are in a state of fun doing itself. This is the highest understanding, says Punjaji. This is the highest understanding. So we have to unlock ourselves at two levels. Level one is attachment to thinking, attachment to believing our thoughts. Level two is attachment to the thinker. Again and again and again. It's not something you do once. You do it once and that's very auspicious. It's a great beginning because you realize that, wow, this opens up a whole new dimension. But then glimpse after glimpse after glimpse, short moments of resting in clarity, repeated again and again and again, become continuous. Become continuous means there is a kind of a grace, there is a hidden power that starts to guide your life, a kind of wind in your sails. And you are mysteriously protected. You're mysteriously guided. And you'll get that guidance in your dreams, in your conversations, in your silence, in random books you open, pages you read, in your innermost knowing. You'll just know. And then trust that more than what anybody says, more than what I say, more than what any spiritual teacher says, more than what any scripture says, more than what society says. Society has some really strange ideas about how we should be living our life. I mean, if you look at it from quite an objective way, suppose you weren't as conditioned as you are. Really, are we meant to be in a job for 12 to 14 hours a day, 6 days a week, for the most of our lives? Who came up with this idea? This is supposed to be a good way to live. And if you don't do that, you cannot pay for where you live. You cannot get food to eat. Your kids can't be happy. Something's really off about that. We've made it really complicated. So one last time, I'll read this powerful teaching, feel it even more deeply. The one who follows the thought. is also a thought. The one who follows the thought is in thought. When you know that both are thoughts, you are home. You are not at home. You are home. Then allow thought to arise and allow them to be followed. You remain as that unmoved and unconcerned being. This is the highest understanding. Do a little chanting. Ong Bengzara Sato Samaya Manopalaya Bengzara Sato Tenopa Tishta Dridho Me Bhava Suto Kayo Me Bhava Supo Kayo Me Bhava Anurakto Me Bhava Sarva Siddhi Me Prayatsa Sarva Karma Satsame Sitang Shriyang Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sarva Tatha Gata Benzara Mame Munsa Benzari Bhava Maha Samaya Sato Ong Bengzara Sato Samaya Manopalaya Bengzara Sato Tenopa Tishta Dridho Me Bhava Suto Kayo Me Bhava Supo Kayo Me Bhava Anurakto Me Bhava Sarva Siddhi Me Prayatsa Sarva Karma Satsame Sitang Shriyang Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sarva Tatha Gata Benzar Mame Munsa Benzari Bhava Maha Samaya Sato Aum Benzar Sato Samaya Manopalaya Benzar Sato Tenopa Tishta Dridho Me Bhava Suto Kayo Me Bhava Supo Kayo Me Bhava Anurakto Me Bhava Sarva Siddhi Me Prayatsa Sarva Karma Satsame Sitang Shriyang Kuru Hong Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sarva Tatha Gata Benzara Mame Munsa Benzari Bhava Mahasamaya Sato Anga Hong Bangs a good Pama Sindhi Hong 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 Hong ga hong bang the girl bam as in the hong ga hong bang the girl bam as in the hong ga hong bang the girl bam as in the hong ga hong bang the girl bam as in the hong Ong tare tu re soha. Ong tare tu re soha. Ong tare tu re soha. Ong 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 tu re soha. Arutperam Jyoti, Arutperam Jyoti, Thaneperam Karunai, Arutperam Jyoti, 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 Arutperam Jyoti, Arutperam Jyoti, Thaneperam Karunai, Arutperam Jyoti. So my wish is that we all be guided from this deep, unmoving and unconcerned being that Punjaji just talked about. May that unmoved and unconcerned being guide us every step of the way, every non-step of the non-way. And until we feel fully established in that, which actually we are, we just may not have realized it yet. I encourage each one of us to not hesitate to take refuge. Take refuge in anyone or anything that reminds you of that. Could be a teacher, could be a teaching, could be a place, could be a process. Like, for example, when I think of Nisargadatta Maharaj, when I think of the Buddha, when I think of Byron Katie, or when I think of Padmasambhava, and there are other teachers, and just thinking of them, revisiting their teachings, Ramana Maharishi, right away, I'm reminded of that unconcerned and unaffected being. Robert Adams, another great teacher. So like this, let us not deviate too far from this, because we shouldn't take our conditioning lightly. We will be drawn in again and again. We shouldn't, even the highest, most practiced teachers, they say, be wary of samsara. It's always willing to pull you in. So this is a little beautiful sapling that's growing, a sapling of truth, a sapling of dharma. We need to protect it. We need to make sure it doesn't get eaten up by doubts, eaten up by other people's criticism. If we're growing in a way that not everybody will understand. Do not even expect everyone to understand. Don't expect your family to always understand. Don't expect your friends to always understand. They're not wrong. They're not against you. It's just not familiar to them. It's not. This is subtle, right? The Buddha actually hesitated to teach. I don't know if you know the story. After his enlightenment, he said, "Who do I teach this to? And this is nobody will understand." He said, he was actually disinclined to teach. His first intuition was, this is too subtle. No one's going to get it. This is subtler than the subtlest. And when that thought emerged in his mind, Brahma Sahampati said, oh my goodness, there will be a calamity. There will be a calamity if the Buddha refuses to teach. He comes rushing down and says, please, reconsider what you're thinking. And he says in a very beautiful way, for there are beings with little dust in their eyes. There are beings with little dust in their eyes. How beautiful. And then the Buddha again scans the cosmos and says, it's true. There are beings with little dust in their eyes. So for some, so he knew that it is not going to be an easy path for him, because he will be misunderstood, he'll be judged, he'll get a lot of opposition. But out of compassion for those with little dust in their eyes, he proceeds to teach. So how blessed we are, So he did not give up. He did not say, oh, this is too subtle, there's no point. He did not become a silent Buddha. He taught. And he's not the only one. Many of these teachers, I mean, when you're in that deep of, I think a few people, like I was reading the other day, Muji talked about this, that he was so blissed out, and he's like, I don't want to meet anyone. I don't want to teach anyone. He was so blissed out in his self-realization. And then he's thrown into constantly teaching and traveling. Like, what is this? Like, why? Same thing the other day, Mohanji was talking to. You also had the same thing. Like, why? I mean, I had no desire to teach anybody. It's so self-contained, so fulfilled. I mean, look at my own life. I was living in a life with an anonymous monk. I was a monk in Sri Lanka, in a monastery most of you have never heard of. I was just another monk. I was very self-contained. I was very fulfilled. Then something sprung up. It was some kind of compassion that sprung up and said, no, this needs to be shared with the rest of me, not the rest of you, but the rest of me. It needs to be shared with the rest of me. So this has an intelligence of its own. We should keep aligning ourselves. So whether it's a teacher you respect or a teaching you respect, that reminds you of this unconcerned, unmoved state of being, then keep coming back to that. Keep coming back to that. Keep taking refuge in that. I find it fascinating that after the Buddha's enlightenment, he really wanted to thank someone. He wanted to express gratitude, but he didn't know who to express, because this had kind of self-arisen within him. So now who to express gratitude to? And so fascinating that at one level, he is the most realized being, but he's eager to respect someone. He's eager to show gratitude. He's eager to, pay homage to someone. But who do I pay homage to? I'll pay homage to this dharma itself. I pay homage to this dharma itself. This truth itself, I pay homage to. And this tree that supported me, the Bodhi tree, I don't know if you've been to Bodh Gaya. There's a place where apparently they say he stood there for 7 days, staring at the tree with gratitude. They say unblinkingly he stared at the tree for 7 days, 7 nights. He just stood there. There's a little mound. I don't know if that's the exact place or not, but there's a little mound. And they say that's where he stood. And he looked at the tree with gratitude. This tree supported me during my struggle for enlightenment. And he just stared at the tree. What an amazing. If you and I can get even a little touch of this kind of gratitude into our life, we'll be blessed. Our whole life will be blessed. How much gratitude to a tree? Who do I teach? He had two teachers who he had been, Uddak Ramaputra and Alar Kalam. He had two teachers who had taken him to quite a way along the path. And his first thought is, let me teach them, but they'd already passed away. And they'd gone into an Arupa Brahmalok. So there was no way to access them. Immaterial Brahma realm. There's the story of the Buddha that when he was an infant, then his father who was a king, he invited wise people to talk about predict the future of this child. So all of them, 7 of them, one after the other, said he will either be a great Chakravarti Samrat, a universal monarch, or he will renounce the world and become a sage. One of the two things, one of two destinations. So then this one, the 8th one who comes, he's a wise rishi. And he looks at him and first he starts laughing. He's delighted. And then he starts crying. And the king is very confused. What behavior is this? 1 minute he's laughing, next minute he's crying. 1 minute he's delighted, next minute he's crying. He said, what is this about? He says, your son is going to renounce the world and become a great spiritual teacher. He'll be a light to the world. Said, but why were you crying? Said, but I will not be alive long enough to receive his teaching. Again, he's going to be born in a Arupa Brahmalok. Like the Buddha can still teach about so beautiful story that he can teach even in the subtle realms. But the Arupa Brahmalok is so far beyond that you cannot receive teachings there. So it's a place of pure mind momentum, pure Samadhi. So even the Buddha cannot penetrate over there to teach. So you have to just wait for that momentum to finish. He says, oh my goodness, what a miss. I'm going to miss it. He cries. So he laughs with delight for the world. The world will benefit. And then he cries for his own loss that I will not be alive long enough for this. I will miss this. When he's ready to share, I'll not be alive. Such beautiful teachings. So then the Buddha scans and says, who do I teach? So Uddak Ramputra has passed on. Alar Kalam has passed on. Who's left? Oh, the 5 friends, Panchavagya, the 5 monks who were with me. Let me teach them. Where are they right now? Oh, they're in Isipatane, Migadai, the deer park in Shravasti, in Sarnath. So then he starts walking. In stages, he walks. Little by little, he's walking from Bodh Gaya to Sarnath. Some of us have gone from Bodh Gaya. It's a pretty decent drive. He's like, all right, he walked this entire distance. And for me, a big encouragement is his first attempt at teaching was a failure. So there was some seeker walking on the path, and he was some kind of a jigyasu, some kind of a seeker. He was searching for the truth. So he comes to him and says, who are you? Like he can see there's some radiance about this fellow. Who are you? What is it? And the Buddha says, I'm the Buddha, I'm the fully awakened one. So now when you tell people I'm the Buddha, I'm the fully awakened one, so then he walks away with, yeah, maybe. you may be. So it was too much. Like he couldn't handle that kind of a proclamation. Buddha said, okay, this is not the way to go. You don't just tell people I'm the awakened one. It's all right. So his first attempt at teaching was a failure, where the person was like, all right, maybe you are. So be it, maybe. Good for you. And he walked on. So then when he meets the 5 monks, the 5 renunciants, they're not monks yet. In the beginning, they had decided that they will not acknowledge him. They see him coming from a distance. They said, no, he has given up because they were doing the ascetic practices. No, he has failed in the practices. We will not acknowledge him. But as he's coming closer, they cannot help themselves. They are drawn to him. So then one prepares a seat and one prepares a place, some water, and they cannot help but bow down to him. They're struck by him. And then he gives that first discourse, the Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta, where he describes the 4 noble truths in the Eightfold Path. So he doesn't start by proclaiming, I am the awakened one. He starts by something that we can all relate to. He says, Dukkha hai. He says there are two ignoble paths and there is one noble path. What are the two ignoble paths? One is Atta Kalamitanu Yoga, which is hurting yourself. Maybe we don't do it to the extreme that in the past is to hurt, that torment the body, but maybe we do it in other ways. We berate ourselves and we, secretly we talk down to ourselves, a horrible person. Why can't you do the simple thing I've told you so many times? And we are quite mean to ourselves. But that's also a kind of Atta Kalamitanu Yoga, where you're kind of hurting yourself, you're being mean to yourself. And the other one is Kame Sukalinikanu Yoga, something like that. I'm not pronouncing it right. But basically, totally committed to sense experience. That I will have pleasant sense experience. I only want to see pleasant things, hear, smell, taste, touch pleasant things. I'm devoted to what you could call an Epicurean lifestyle. Basically, eat, drink, and make merry, for tomorrow we shall die. That kind of philosophy. So Buddha says these two paths are not the right paths. They're going to lead to calamity for you. Either following only sense pleasure or hurting and harming your body, thinking that that's going to somehow evaporate your karmas. He says, no, this is. So he says, Majjhima Patipada, the middle path. The Majjhima Patipada. And what is the Majjhima Patipada? It is the four noble truths in the Eightfold Path. What are the Four Noble Truths? Dukkha hai, there is suffering. What is suffering? Birth is suffering. No one comes into the world laughing. Right? The process of birth is one of the most traumatic, difficult processes for any woman to go through. And even for the sensitive men, they're also sitting outside thinking, what the hell? Are they going to make it? Everyone is suffering. The doctor's like, why did you wake me up early in the morning? Doctor also suffering. Everyone's suffering. The process of, they're all happy when it's done. Okay, khatam ho gaya, chalo ghar jao. So the process of birth is suffering, coming into this world. Then, of course, sickness is suffering. We've all seen that in the last couple of years. So many people getting sick. It's suffering. Old age is suffering. I'm seeing my parents growing older and older. My mother, who PhD in physics, so sharp, she struggles nowadays. She's not so. Like I was asking her yesterday, what is the population of Pune? Guess the population of Pune. Guess the population of Mumbai. So she was guessing Pune's population is higher than Mumbai. She kept guessing Pune. I said, but mom, which is bigger? She said, no, Bombay is bigger. Then how come you're guessing? So like I'm noticing this, slight cognitive decline where she's at one level, she knows that Bombay has a bigger population than Pune, but still she's guessing Pune's population is more than Bombay. So now see, this is old age. And so yeah, this is coming. It's someone who was as sharp as her, who was, featured in so many magazines once upon a time, and who's been PhD in physics and been to IIT and this and that. But yeah, this is how it goes. So old age is suffering, and death is suffering. Death by itself is not suffering, but our attachment. They're holding on tightly. That is the suffering. So the Eightfold Path. The Eightfold Path, which is in a simplified way, is wholesome actions, basically Shila, Samadhi, and Panya. What is Shila? Shila is that by my words and actions, may I not hurt and harm others. Samadhi is, may I be in the present moment and deepen that ability to witness. And Pragya is exactly what we were reading today. Even the one who is practicing Shila and Samadhi is also a thought. Pragya is realizing that there is no separate entity here called Nithya Shanti. It's just a process. It's just life living itself. What I imagine myself to be is just that. It's an imagination. So Shila, Samadhi, Pragya. Why Shila? Because without that, you will not be able to practice Samadhi. When you're constantly lighting fires around yourself, you cannot be cool on the inside. If you're constantly deceiving others, troubling others, being mean to others, being hurtful, harmful to others, you cannot have inner peace. You cannot have inner peace. You can't be in the present. You can't. These are two subtle things for you to realize. There was a friend of mine who started a business in Bangalore called 1,000 Petals, which has a flotation tank. It's quite something. You should go sometime to a flotation tank. Flotation tank is got these Epsom salts dissolved in water. Your body floats in it like in the Dead Sea. So you stay there for an hour longer. You just float over there. So, and the interesting thing is they make the water temperature same with your body skin temperature. So water temperature and skin temperature are same. And you're floating. And because the water is so viscous and thick, when your ears are below the water, you can't hear anything. So it's no sound. Then they put the lights out so there's no sight. You don't really feel anything because you're not really touching anything. Nothing much to smell, nothing much to taste. All your senses, like a sensory deprivation tank. So he told me that there was once a famous politician who came, very excited. He came and he got into his robes and everything, went into the room. Within 3 minutes, he came running out. I'm leaving. Why? What happened? You cannot bear to be with yourself, you see. If you're playing a lot of games with other people, you will not be able to access these teachings. You cannot bear your own company. To be with yourself without any distractions like that, it'll be unbearable to you, which is why Sheila is important. We're not perfect. I'm not perfect. We will inevitably say and do things that hurt and harm others. We just reorient ourselves, reset ourselves, apologize, make amends to the best of our ability, reset, restart. This is not about perfection. This is about self-correction. This is about connection. It's not about perfection. So just keep coming back, keep reorienting yourself. Even monks, once in 2 weeks, we do what's called the Patimokkha. We recite the 227 rules that we have as monks. And then as they're being recited, you say, oh my God, looks like I broke that one. Or looks like I missed on that one. And at the end of it, you go and confess, okay, this one was not correct. I borrowed the umbrella, but didn't return it. I took what was a little thing that happened, little. So, or I said that, but I was actually not entirely true. I kind of deceived. I was a little deceptive in what I said. So little, you clean up. You clean up everything that happened the last 2 weeks. Hopefully it's nothing very heavy. You clean it up. Most of the things are they can be very easily restored. And so like this, make amends. And as long as you keep making amends, you will be able to a good extent, be comfortable in your own skin and be in the present, be in the now. And as that gets more steady and stable, that's called Samadhi. And then that Samadhi turns back on itself. You see, Samadhi by itself can give you a lot of success in life. Because look at anyone who's successful, whether they're a famous author or they run a business or they're shopkeeper, there's a certain amount of Samadhi there. I find it fascinating, these businesses that become very successful. Like the other day, I went to one of the most famous Pani Puri guys in Pune. It's got really tasty Pani Puri. So I said, how long is your shop? He said, our shop is 150 years old. So probably a few ancestors, they've been doing this Pani Puri business for 150 years. And unfailingly, they're there every day at they start only in the evening. They're not there in the daytime. They're outside a Hanuman temple in camp. If you're in Pune, you know this. And there's it's not even a shop. It's just like a table. It's just like not even a table, like one of the it's like nothing. And they always have people flocking around them. So this is Samadhi. They've cracked the whole Pani Puri scene. They've figured out what is the Pani Puri equation? How do you make it work? And for 150 years, they've been going. So Samadhi by itself will give you success in life. It has to, because you'll understand some secrets of life. But the real use of Samadhi is to turn back and investigate, who am I? Otherwise, you're just making it's like you're decorating your prison cell. You're making it a good-looking prison cell, but you're not unlocking the prison. You're not getting out of the prison. So the real use of our Samadhi is to turn back and say, who am I? Otherwise, you're not out of suffering yet. And every identity is going to become a trap for us at some point. Even the best Pani Puri guy in Pune, that's going to become a trap. Someday someone will say, yeah, you're not as great as I thought. There are better ones than you. How dare you say that? Get very offended. Don't you know I'm the best Pani Puri guy in Pune? Right? Or somebody says, क्या कर लिया आपने जीवन में? पूरे जिंदगी पानी पूरी खिला दी सबको. How dare you say that? Get very offended by that. So your identity becomes a trap if you're not careful. So that is the teaching of the Buddha. Shila, Samadhi, Panya, the Eightfold Path, elaborates on that: right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, right Samadhi, and right thought and right understanding. Good. So I wanted to share a few highlights for me from this last year, and then I'd like to open it up for some discussion and some sharing with all of you. But let's have a minute of silence before that. Take a nice deep breath. So last night I asked myself what were some of the highlights of the last year for me. And so I'm just going to share some of the things I wrote. No particular order, no particular, categorization, just something that came into my consciousness. Some of you who've been with me the last year will know many of these things. Some of them you'll not know. So the first thing was that from being a consumer of books, I finally wrote a book. There's a book called Unburden. Some of you already got it. And this book was completed and published. And I have to say, it happened not because of me, it happened in spite of me. I had a big team of people helping me and prodding me on and demanding that I get to it. And my publisher almost lost his cool with me to get it done. So finally we got it done. And so now it's done. And I've also recorded the audiobook. It's not been uploaded yet, but I think they're cleaning it up. And I think in a few days or weeks, it should be up. The audiobook should be up as well. So that's the first thing. And gratitude to Nandini, my co-author, and everybody else who has been part of this book writing journey. Another big thing that happened last year was the conscious community was initiated. Actually, exactly 1 year from 1 year back on my birthday, I talked about let's create a community. Let's instead of just the joy of meeting once in a while, let's really see ourselves as sharing a similar set of values, a similar vision, and let's create that. We don't know how we'll create it. Let's just start moving in that direction, and we'll see where it goes. So many of you have joined me in that. 1 second, I think I need to make. Yeah. Then there's a website called round.glass, and this is an American company. They're also in India, and they invited me to create a set of courses for them. So quite a few courses were created last year. So you can go to round.glass, and I think they've even made a special link for me, round.glass/Nithya, Nithya or Nithya Shanti, as one of the two. And you'll find a lot of my courses there. So the cool thing about that is these are all free, at least for now. I think they're free. They may at some point start charging. And this was done in, like, I've never in my life felt like a film star, because we had a crew of 25 people. There was a light team, and there was the camera team, and there were all kinds of teams. And then there was makeup dada. And I was very embarrassed. There was even a person who was there to clothe me. I said, okay, I'll clothe myself. It's all right. We just iron the clothes and give it to me. Okay, this is what film stars feel like, being surrounded by all these people. So we had several shoots, and you can check out. I think it's pretty nice. Some of the courses have come out quite nice. So you can go to round.glass and check out the courses there. Then one of our community people, Preeti Bhandari, passed on due to COVID. And that inspired me to start a meditation process. So we had 108 nights of meditation. Every night we would meditate for half an hour or more. And that's on YouTube. You can just go to YouTube and search for daily practice with Nithya Shanti. So you'll find 108 meditations. Also, I reconnected with the authentic relating movement, which I had been introduced to some years back in the US. And because of everything going, they were not online. They were very offline kind of people. But then because of COVID, they were forced to go online. So then I benefited, and many of you benefited. So we've had authentic relating gatherings in person, and we've also had them online on Zoom. And that continues to be something very powerful. Then we had, in December, some of you joined me for a retreat in Pachmari in Madhya Pradesh. If you've never been to Pachmari, I recommend. It's a very beautiful place. I think it's one of the hidden gems of India. It's a lovely hill station, quite quaint. It's also a cantonment area. You will enjoy it. We were there for 21 days, and some of you joined me online. And then we've had, of course, several organizations reached out to me in the last year. I don't really kind of promote or market my work, but people reach out to me if they hear about me. So I've done work with several different groups and organizations. Did some one-on-one coaching. I don't do that much one-on-one coaching, but yeah, a few people every month I do work one-on-one with. That was something that happened. New website was launched. I got myself a rowing machine. That's been a lot of fun. So that was one of my indoor exercises. Rowing, what's cool about rowing is it activates, they say, something like 70-80% of your muscle groups. And it's also relatively low impact as compared to running and things like that. So if you're someone who's getting older, then you might want to explore rowing. Of course, there's actual rowing on a boat, which I'm sure is also, if you have a river close by and a boat, try that. Otherwise, indoor rowing machines. So I have a machine called Concept 2. Concept 2 is the machine used by most rowing athletes, including in the Indian rowing team also uses Concept 2. So I think it's a really good workout if you're looking for a good workout. And this is more recent, just in the last month. I'd heard of it before, but I hadn't really tried it. There's a sport called pickleball, which they say, I don't know if it's true, but they claim it's the fastest growing sport in the world. And some people don't like this because rapidly, especially in the US, it's the fastest growing sport in the US for sure. I don't know in the world. So rapidly in the US, tennis courts are being converted into pickleball courts. Why? Because 2 tennis courts can accommodate 6 pickleball courts. And also it's a very popular sport. Tennis has got a higher, it takes more effort to get into it. Of course, it's a great sport, but it's harder. It's not easy to learn tennis. But pickleball, almost anybody can pick up and just start going. So I'll just show you a pickleball racket. This is a pickleball racket. Nice, colorful racket. And this is what a pickleball looks like. So we've been playing this almost every day. And it's surprisingly fun. You know, it's a combination of TT, badminton, and tennis. It's played on a badminton-sized court. And the rules are pretty simple. And it's quite, again, it's very low impact, but the court is small. And even badminton can sometimes be pretty strenuous because you're moving your whole shoulder. This doesn't have those kind of movements. So a lot of people have not gotten into it because I think it's an old person sport. But I was listening to some podcasts where some professional tennis players, they were surprised by how much they liked the sport. Once they got in, they were like, "Okay, I can't play. I'm not going to play what my grandmother plays." But when they actually got into it, because there's a difference between, see, it's not just a sport; it's the community around it. So tennis, they say you go and play tennis, you're not allowed to make a sound. It's like quiet, silence on the court. It's very stiff. Like you got to be quiet, and then you know how it goes. You look right, look left, look right. You're just following the ball, and no one's allowed to make. You basically come, you play a sport, and you go, right. So it's very formal. But pickleball is like, it's noisy, and people are kind of having fun, and they're getting to know you, and they come and talk to you. So it's a very young, and it's a much more friendly sport, and all levels of people, like also older people play. Until recently, the world number one was 60 years old. Now the latest world number one is 22 years old. But so it's played by all levels of people, right? So it's a fun. So this is something we've been doing, which is fun. I also restarted badminton, which is great. And so one of my hobbies, some of you know, is board games. So we've had a lot of board game gatherings in the last year. And board games are a great way to connect and activate different parts of our, and for me, our brain, I was saying. And for me, it's good because if I'm always teaching spirituality and love all, but then I can get to be a little evil on the board game. I can bring out my evil side. I can torment others and like, Nithya, Shanti, you're so competitive. So it's fun to play board games. So we've had a lot of board game gatherings. In fact, the last two, it's been an overdrive of board games. Friday and Saturday, we had 2 big board game gatherings. So a lot of board games. Then there's a place near Pune called Anand Ashram, which is nice. If you're near Pune, sometime go. It's a nice little ashram. So we've been there a few times with friends. It was good. Another big thing that happened was we went for a pilgrimage to Kashmir. My friend Nilima organized a 10-12-day pilgrimage to Kashmir and Ladakh. And I was inspired by that trip to start the Rainbow Body Sangha, which some of you are part of. So this is a group of people who is studying the light body phenomena, how we are not just physical beings, we are also energy beings, we're also light beings, we're also pure consciousness. And there are these cases, not 1 or 2, but thousands of cases of people who have not died a normal physical death, where their body just gets stiff and hardened and begins to deteriorate and stink, but their body literally becomes light. This happened to Guru Nanak, this happened to Kabir, this happened to many, many people. In fact, in recent times, there have been many cases of this, where people transmute back to light. So I just find this, if that is a possibility, then that needs to be seriously studied and investigated and learned about. So for that, we have the Rainbow Body Sangha. We've had a lot of book readings and practices and mantras. And recently we had a Tibetan, I'm afraid to pronounce her name wrong, Drukmo Gyal, I think her name is Gyal, is that how you pronounce it? And so we had her, you can look on my YouTube channel, and she's shared a very powerful Tibetan healing mantra practice. So like this very interesting thing that's happening. That's something that got initiated this year. And of course, one of my hobbies is Frisbee. So I've been playing a lot of Frisbee whenever I can. I offered many online courses on many topics. I don't even know what all topics, but we've definitely had, I think Patty sent me a list of some. We had a prosperity portal. We had a tapping course. We had an awake course. We had a gentle flow grace course. We had a self-care intensive. We had an alignment expansion. That was earlier, right? And the alignment expansion and flow, mini workshops. So many such courses, and the interesting thing is I don't necessarily plan these things. They kind of just come to me. I just get drawn to doing something, exploring something. And it's lovely that so many of you join me for these things. The next one that's coming up is we are exploring this book. I find John Wellwood has a really good understanding of this whole aspect of love, the love life that we have, the loving relationships, the intimate relationships. So approaching both from a spiritual and a psychological angle, he sheds very unique light. So we're going to be exploring that. And that's called The Challenge of Love. That's a course coming up in about a week's time. And I was invited by several groups, but especially I want to mention 2 groups. One was somehow I had a chance many times in this last year to talk to elderly people. So people who are considered senior citizens. So a couple of organizations invited me, and I've had several talks with them. And I feel very privileged that, these are people who have had 2 or 3 times the life experience I've had. And here they are willing to listen to me very humbly and very open-mindedly. And the idea of these groups are that one of them is Silver Talkies, one of them is Dignity Foundation. And they're trying to get these seniors to say that this is your second innings. Don't think of it as the end of your life. Think of it as a new beginning, right? And so how to have, I think this is a really big concern now that people are having longer lifespans. It's no longer about how long you live, but the quality of your life. And so how can you have good physical health and mental health? And community is so important. You know, people then kind of coming together and talking to each other regularly. So I enjoyed that. So both elderly as well as for schools, I did some sessions for teenagers. We did some teen talks, as well as I've had a lot of sessions with schools. So that's been good. Then I was inspired by Ramalinga Swami to do something for food distribution. So we've had a few drives where we've gone and fed hungry people, which is quite powerful. So preparing the food and going and feeding the hungry people. That's something that that happened the last year. Also, many of you from the Rainbow Body Sangha, you and maybe others as well, you made some big donations. So we've been channelizing those. In fact, I still have that money left. So I'm still channelizing to various different initiatives which are helping people. That's been good. Recorded the audiobook for my book. Began doing some pranayama quite regularly. I don't do it every day, but quite regularly I do pranayama like Kapalbhati and Anulom Vilom and Wim Hof, which is more like a kriya. So that's something I've been enjoying. We've had many book readings in this last year, which has been fun. We've had a few 12-hour intensive sessions. We've had full moon and new moon gatherings throughout the year. I have a little instrument called the UFO drum, which I've enjoyed playing. In my own way, I've been promoting a vegan and plant-based lifestyle because, yeah, it's good for your health. It's good for the planet. And I think it's about time we woke up to how other animals are like our brothers and sisters, and we can't just exploit them. So it's not just a diet, it's a lifestyle where you try to minimize the harm you cause. There was a nice video I saw which said that the world does not need billions and billions of perfect vegans. The world needs billions of imperfect vegans. So even if you're not a perfect vegan, if you can just reduce your meat consumption, dairy consumption, even by a few times a week, you will be doing something very big for our planet. Because if you study ecology, then you'll realize that this is our dietary habits are causing havoc on our oceans and on our planet. So I'm not much of an activist, but if there is one cause I talk regularly about, it is about how we treat animals. Ramalinga Swami also, he's one of the people I was very inspired by this year. That's something he would also do. He would really promote a vegetarian diet, and he would rush to places where animals were being slaughtered, and he would physically stop them. He said, "You don't know what you're doing. You don't know the karma you're creating. Just stop it." Right? And he would physically go there and just stop people from doing that. So this is also a living being. So to the extent we can also awaken to that, then I think it is a very important step. A lot of chanting happened this year, a lot of mantras and chanting, and part of the Rainbow Body Sangha also we did that. I learned some new mantras. I'm still learning some new ones. Then I wrote several things, articles and blogs and various things. Not really blogs, but in my own way, I wrote things. I had a chance to interview several inspiring people. We had a Share Your Gifts community, which began on Telegram, which some of you are part of. It's kind of become a little quiet now, but for quite a while we were, I think 600-700 of you were there on that. And people have been sharing their gifts with each other, which has also been a nice thing. I discovered, this is something just interesting for me, mechanical watches, how they can make watches without batteries that can be super accurate. So I was just studying that for a while this year. I just found that very fascinating. I began a new podcast again with Round Glass. I don't know if they've fully launched it yet, but I'm interviewing some really inspiring people, and that podcast should be launched on Spotify and other places soon. That's something that's begun. I grew my hair long, then I grew them. Then I got so many comments on my long hair. People liked it and didn't like it. My goodness, my hair is a very big topic of conversation. Someone even said, "Nithya, let me get you a barber. Let me pay for your hair. Pay for your haircut." I got my ear pierced. People say, "Why?" There's no why, I just got it pierced. No reason why. I discovered batch flowers. Some of you know it as bark flowers. That was the way. So from Samira, we learned batch or bark flowers. And that's something that I've benefited from this year. I discovered Ramalinga Swami, who I find is way. In fact, I'd heard of him years back, but Amaru connected me with him again. And it's been really powerful. Chanting Arut Peram Jyoti, which is the mantra revealed to him by Lord Shiva. That's a really powerful mantra. And some of you also here have practiced it and felt the grace of that mantra. Basically, the mantra I chanted today as well. Arut Peram Jyoti, Arut Peram Jyoti. Thanip Peram Karunai, Arut Peram Jyoti. So basically, you're saying the supreme light is, basically you're inviting that supreme light of God or grace or whatever word you want to use. And the supreme compassion of that light. So basically, it's not referring to any particular God or deity or religion. It's just saying that allow that supreme light to flood your being. So Ramalinga Swami said, just light a lamp, look at the lamp and chant this mantra. And feed hungry people and don't kill animals. That's basically what he said. This is universal religion for everybody. And he said, this is good. In fact, he attained the light body. So at a certain point, he took the lamp outside of his room, put it outside and said, now this will be your teacher. And he went into the room, he closed the door and he was never seen again. And there were lights seen outside in the sky and other places. So when those days the Britishers were running the show. In fact, one of the last things he said is, hold off the government outside. The government is going to try to enter the room. Just keep them outside as long as possible. He knew this was going to happen. So eventually the Britishers came and said, what's going on here? Who is this person inside? So they opened the room and there's nobody inside. It's empty. And the whole village had witnessed him go inside that room. So he attained the light body. So this is amazing. This is, Sri Aurobindo called him the precursor, right, of his teachings. That this is our destiny. We are not just destined to die. Ramalinga Swami said, if you think you're going to die, then you don't have a full understanding yet. So this is a very powerful teaching. He's inviting us to take our true inheritance, which is beyond birth and death. Began decluttering my home. I managed to puncture 2 tires in one go. There's an organization that I support, Each One Teach One. So we are funding the education of children. So that's something I've been part of. So maybe I can share the link for that later on. Some of you want to fund the education for some children, you can be a part of that. And also if you want higher education as well. Good, that's been more or less my update. Is there anything else that Patty shared? I asked Patty to also think on my behalf.
I shared whatever.
Yeah, so we've had a conscious community retreat. Yeah, those of you are part of the community, we had a very powerful retreat in Tiruvannamalai last year. That was powerful. And for my birthday, I've invited people, instead of sending me a gift, why not gift something to someone who really needs it? Someone in your vicinity, or it's either a financial gift or a physical gift, or just a gift of your love and your skills. That would be more meaningful to me. It can be anonymous, or we have set up a Google Doc. Patty can find the link for that. So we are just inviting people to just do acts of kindness. That's the best gift. If you're inspired by me in any way, then what do you say? Pay it forward, like they say. Pay it forward. That's probably the most meaningful thing you can do. Good.
I just want to remind you about the Bodhicitta Fund, which we had requested people that on a monthly basis, a small amount which can go to support people from our community, right? So that was an initiative also you had started.
I just felt I should first finish the fund I've already got before I ask for more funds. So I don't really want to ask for more right now, whatever is remaining in that fund. I want to first finish that, then I'll again ask for if there is.
The whole idea of creating that fund was for us to create a corpus there, and it'll be there. And then whenever someone needs something, and then we'll have a group of people who will investigate and decide, whom it will go to, and then it'll be taken from there. That was the whole idea.
Sure, if you want to contribute. So Patty, you can find the link for that. If you want to contribute, you can. And once I use up the funds, I will again ask for contributions. Then I want there to be a flow. I don't want to just accumulate fund. I don't want it sitting there. I want it to be used for whatever we're doing. So now I'd like to open it up. Preeti's raising her hand. So if you want to raise your hand, we can unmute you and we can have some discussion, conversation. Preeti, go ahead.
Hi, Nithya. I did up my altar today with flowers and it's smelling good, looking good. All for your birthday. Early it is done.
So beautiful. Zoom in a little bit more. Show us again. Oh, look at that. That's so beautiful.
And I have all my books that I worship here.
That you worship. Beautiful. Beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. Tathastu. Such nice energy coming out of your altar.
Thank you. And I wanted to thank you so much. This year has been amazing for me in my understanding of the wisdom teachings and growing and aligning with that. So thank you so much for the last year. And I had a dream last night, which I wanted to, it was so much in alignment to today's wisdom teachings, I wanted to say. It just before I woke up, so it was very vivid. So Shiva is standing on a bike and Vishnu has fallen down. So Shiva is giving a hand to Vishnu and lifting him up. And he's saying, Narayana, life is like a pot. You can decide to put in muck, you can decide to put in nectar, you can decide to put in poison, you can decide to put in anything. The more you put in, the more you're burdened to carry. If you decide not to put in, so what is left is you are as I am.
Wow, what a profound dream. So he's standing on a motorcycle and he's trying to lift up Narayana, who's fallen.
Narayana's fallen off. So he's standing up the motorcycle and he's giving his hand and he's taking Vishnu and he's saying, Narayana, you know, life is like a pot. So the more you have inside, the more you're burdening yourself. If you decide not to have, what is left is you are as I am.
Love it. I like how in our scriptures, Narayana keeps reaching out to Shiva and Shiva keeps reaching out to Narayana. Could you remember we went to Pachmari for the retreat?
Yes.
And Pachmari is a very interesting place. Those of you who don't know, this is a place where this, what's his name? Bakulasur. What is the name? Bhasmasur. So basically there is an Asura called Bhasmasur and he meditates just tapasya for a very long time. And Lord Shiva appears to him. So Lord Shiva says, what boon do you want? He says, give me the ability to put my hand on anybody's head and they'll vaporize, they'll get destroyed. So Shiva says, all right. So Shiva is called Bholenath. So he just grants people's wishes. So yeah, okay, tathastu, done. So he says, done? How do I know it's done? He says, no, it's done. I've granted it to you. He says, let me test it on you. He says, no. So then Shiva starts running. And Bhasmasura is running after him and put his hand. So Shiva, how cute is this? Shiva only gave him the Vardhan. Now Shiva is only running for his life. So finally Shiva has to reach out to Narayana, to Vishnu, say, please help me. I'm in trouble. There's actually a cave in Pachmari. It's a very narrow, it's quite a claustrophobic cave. It's super narrow and deep. And then there's a little opening at the end. So they say Shiva hid over there. When Bhasmasura was after him, Shiva entered that cave and he hid over there. So Bhasmasura must have been a fat guy because it's kind of a narrow cave. So he couldn't enter. Then meanwhile, there's another cave where apparently Vishnu takes the form of Mohini or one of the Apsaras, and she begins dancing. So because Bhasmasura can't get to Shiva, so he said, might as well watch this dance performance. So he's seeing this nice, beautiful dance. And the dance is so captivating that, you know, like if you're in a restaurant and there's a nice music going on, you can't help but kind of going with the beat. So he can't help but himself, he starts swaying and dancing. And next thing you know, he's also dancing along with the Apsara. And finally, she suddenly puts her hand on her head. So he also puts his hand on his head and boom, he destroys himself. So that's the story of Bhasmasura. So I love how our scriptures are full of these very fun stories. Anything else, Preeti?
That's it, Nithya. Best wishes for the year and looking forward to more with you.
Lovely. Thanks so much. Would anyone else like to share something? You can, let me actually change the settings so you can raise your hand. You should be able to raise your hand. We also have a chat. I'll share the links, Bhavana. Each one, I'll share it in the groups that we have. I'll find it and share it with all. Sandhya, go ahead.
Nithya, I wanted to share a small card that I have made for you. Can I share the card?
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I can't share it. It was disabled.
Well, let me make you a co-host.
Yeah.
You are an inexhaustible source of wisdom and knowledge to illuminate. Is it on like a? Is it on the gang that we met in Bombay? Go to the second slide. I couldn't read it.
I'll just open that.
Or you can just play it and pause it. That'll work.
Yes.
Your inexhaustible source of wisdom and knowledge we illuminate, soothing lights, purifies us. In personal or professional aspects, we have learned so much from you and continue to mentor with a legendary spirit. Happy, enticing work. Thank you so much. What a beautiful card and what beautiful thoughts. Thank you, Sandhya.
Thank you, Nithya. Wishing you all the very best.
And keep inviting more inspiring speakers like you.
Yes, I will do.
That's your job for the coming year.
Great.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. Would anyone else like to say something? Let me just read the comments. Okay, Nalini, go ahead. You raised your hand, Nalini. You did it. Now you have to say something. I think I didn't do it. I didn't do it.
It was my mistake. Thumbs up.
So show them the nice art you've been making on your walls.
Oh, okay. Happy birthday, Nithya.
Thank you, my dear.
This is Shiva Shakti.
Very beautiful.
And I have something here on the opposite wall across
Wow.
Shiva. And something that Nithya wrote on a book for me. But I projected it on the wall and made it into a wall art. So it's forever.
So nice.
It was by mistake, but it was wonderful. Thank you, Nithya,
Lovely.
for allowing me to wish you.
Did you purposely paint your wall green so you could do this?
I wanted green, but it helped.
Help with the painting. Okay, good. Thank you. That's very creative. So basically, what she used a projector to project on the wall, and then she just drew out what came up. So it's a very creative way of making paintings and art. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you, Nithya, for telling others, everybody, that I'm not an artist.
Even that's a kind of art. To think of that itself is a kind of artistry. All right. Thank you. I didn't fully understand about the one who follows the thought is also a thought. Can you explain a little? Yeah. So even the sense of you being a separate you is also a thought. Like when you are in a like, for example, in deep dreamless sleep, there is no, what happened to my video? I'm wondering. Okay, it is. Yeah. In deep dreamless sleep, there is no sense of being a separate person, right? So that's what it means. That just you should ask the question: who is taking delivery of this experience? That's a very powerful question. And then you see if you can find. They say, okay, yeah, it's me. Okay, so where is this me? And here, it's here in the heart. Okay, it's here in the heart. So if it's here in the heart, then who is aware of it in the heart? that's behind the heart, or that's in front of the heart. So like, it's very good to not only ask who am I, but to ask where am I, and check where is the energy feeling that, okay, this is the me that's speaking. Is it coming from the head? Is it coming from the heart? Is it coming from behind? Is it coming from all of it? So that's what it means. The one who thinks the thought is also a thought. Let's go to Savita and then Bhavna. Savita, go ahead.
Hi Nithya, hello everybody. Wish you a very happy ageless day, Nithya. Thank you very much. This 1 year has been very transforming for me, being associated. I think it started with some of rubbing my own self with not to believe the thoughts. But from there, and I was just questioning how can that happen? Because life happens only through thoughts. We start off like it started from that question and have come a long way. And you have been guiding in each step. And thank you very much for being part of my life and our life, in fact, and transforming our lives. Thank you very much.
Thank you, dear Savita. Thank you for being such an earnest practitioner. Inviting Bhavna in.
Hi. So first of all, many, many happy birthday wishes to you. And it's truly an ageless day. I don't see you aging in any way. I think you're getting younger with every birthday celebration, which is awesome. So much love and gratitude to you for whatever you do. It inspired not only my life, but so many lives through me. And I was able to connect to so many beautiful people, beautiful books, amazing. Like I think 2021 and 22 was the most challenging and the most beautiful year of my life. So I really appreciate that. It was so beautiful. And then, so sorry, I couldn't listen to your whole 2-hour talk, but whatever, because of the Super Bowl still going on. So I thought, okay, I should take some time. It's a really interesting game idea. Yeah. So I didn't want to miss that. So I was trying to do both of them. So but it's still going on. And the last quarter is really
this is the final. The Super Bowl is like the final, is it?
Final. And then Cincinnati, I am really rooting for Cincinnati, and they're leading. They never won a Super Bowl, or they didn't for many long time, or so, whatever it is. I just know, I learned after so many years the rules of American football, because it's so complicated. So I don't miss Super Bowl. But I thought, okay, I'll just stop by and wish you a very happy birthday. You're just amazing. It's just mind-blowing to not only my experience, but to hear from other people's experience also, like how they get in touch with you, how you made a big difference in their lives also, and how you inspire other people. I think that should be the journey of each and every human being also, to love everybody, to make difference in other people's life, to inspire others. So thank you so much for being the messenger and sharing with us. Yeah.
So you're playing pickleball in the US, right?
Oh, I'm a big pickleball fan. Actually, I used to play 5-6 days a week, and then I got tennis elbow. And it's so funny that the way I found pickleball, I was at gym, like we were new in this town. I didn't know anybody, so I used to work in gym. And when I was just walking around, like on the second floor, I saw some people having so much fun on basketball courts. So they had I said, it looks like tennis. So what it is, like, they were old people. And I'm not shy talking to people. So I went over there, and then I said, okay, what game is that? They said, it's pickleball. And then when I started learning, like I didn't take any lessons. I just learned about the game. And everybody knew that I was new. So I was the main target. Okay, let's give all the balls to Bhavna. Let's smash her and all that. I got really frustrated. I said, okay, you teach me how to play, and then I will show these people how to return the ball and all that. So I got so good, so competitive that. But then I started playing 6-7 days a week. I was going to different pickleball courts and playing with different people. We played some tournaments also. But then I hurt my back like about a year ago, so I didn't play pickleball. And then I heard you playing pickleball. I said, oh my God, I have to beat Nithya Shant in pickleball at least. So I cannot do that in board games, but maybe in pickleball I can try. So I started playing pickleball and badminton again. And so I try to play twice a week. Yeah, but it's such a fun game. And as you said that, yeah, most of them are older people. So some people, like my family, make fun of me that I play with older people. But I think it's such a fun, loving group also, like they are in 80s, late 70s, and they can move fast, they can think fast. And as you gave an example of your mom also, like how she is a PhD in physics, and but still, like, you know, they have that dignity, that respect, that, so it's just amazing to be around with all those people. It's just beautiful. I learn from their life stories and all that, so they inspire. So yeah, it's beautiful game. So I inspire everybody. Actually, I was thinking that maybe if I go back to India, I should start pickleball game. I should start teaching pickleball to everybody because it's such a fun game. Yeah.
It's growing in India
All
also,
right.
so it's gonna be more and more in India. That's good.
That's awesome. It's a really good
So
game.
Bhavna, look what Anu has written in the chat.
Yeah.
Well, Nithya, I chose you over Super Bowl.
Oh. That's good. I disappeared for the first few minutes when you initiated the call, and everybody was calling, "Where is Mama? Where is Bhavna?" Because something was going on, and it's a fun game. Yeah. So.
Yeah, come.
But it's good. I chose both of you. I chose Nithya and Super Bowl. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Thank you, Bhavna.
Thank you. Lots of love and gratitude to you.
Oh, great. Yeah, you can keep it there. Oh, lovely. Thank you.
Not to be kept. It's to be cut on the call. It's been sent by.
Oh, it's supposed to be cut on the call.
Yeah,
Oh, that's what it is. Oh my, I did not realize that.
Yes, sent it from Chennai.
Oh, look at that. So this is a big plan. Some kind of cake has come to be cut on the call.
Bhargavi from Chennai has sent it.
Okay, let's find a way to cut this. Thank you. Happy birthday. Who would have thought? A birthday cake on the call. Happy birthday, Nithya. Please send this cake to be cut on the call today. It came just in time. Okay, this is a big cake. Ta-da! How beautiful. How thoughtful is this? Thank you, Bhargavi, and thank you everybody else who's been part of this. That's an amazing surprise.
Yeah. Hema, it's purely Hema's work, so Hema has been behind this.
So I'll cut this just before we end the call. I'm going to keep it here.
Yeah, sure, no problem. Yeah.
And we have Shivani raising a hand. Shivani, go ahead.
Happy birthday, Nithya.
Thank you.
So, Nithya, last year when I joined the community in September, I didn't know what kind of ride it was going to be. But I just want to tell you, it has been magical. Every day it has been magical. I didn't know that I'll become a part of this community. It's something I resonate with every day now. And from my darkest hours, I've come to the sunniest of days. And it's all because of you. I've taken up badminton again in my life. It just inspires me every day to get out of my comfort zone. Thank you so much.
We have to have a badminton match soon.
Yeah, sure.
So good to hear that. Thank you.
Thank you.
And my wish is that you, your energy that's coming into you and the spirit that's coming into you, that you become a powerful. Like you're saying, it's because of me. I think it's because of what I represent more than because of me. So I think you also represent this willingness to open to life and to choose love over fear and to stand up. You're going to fall down many times in this life. You're going to goof up many times. There's a very powerful teaching by Dogen Zenji. Dogen says, a Zen master's life, and I would say all of us are prospective Zen masters. A Zen master's life is one continuous mistake. So we're going to have many, many, many mistakes and missteps, and we keep on rising up. It's not a problem to have mistakes. Just rise up, dust yourself up, and stand up again and keep going. And so like this, may you also represent that for everyone in your life.
So Nithya, what I do now is I just give my intent that I want to do this. and magically it just happens. The anxiety part is going away and the intent is so strong, it's so positive that it just happens. Right now I'm in Navalgarh and it's a friend's 25th anniversary, and the internet has been very unstable, but I had this intent, I have to attend Nithya's birthday call, and it's just happened.
Amazing.
So
Thank you for joining. Lovely, Shivani. Lots of love. And we have Ankita.
I'm speaking from my phone because my laptop isn't working. I hope you can hear me.
Yeah, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Happy birthday, Nithya.
Thank you.
And I feel like I came to get to be in your presence since last May or June or something, and I see my life has changed so much since then. I became from somebody who used to sleep at 3 p.m. to somebody who can wake up at 4 a.m. It's like my life is completely changed like that, and I'm able to unleash myself and talk about myself and speak up about myself and share myself with so much better in the world. So you've been an inspiration in so many different ways. So just wanted to thank you, and I really lots of blessings to you on your ageless.
Thank you for that, Ankita. And it's been a joy to have you in our retreats and to be with you as well. Wonderful. And we have Divya. Divya Krishnan.
Yeah, hi Nithya. I think I've been with you forever, Nithya, so I don't even remember like how long it's been. But I realized how long it's been when I start advising people, and I feel like I'm channeling you in my advice to people, and I can hear you like knocking me on the head saying, don't say that, don't say this. But anyway, well, I mean, to wish you a happy birthday, I forgot about Super Bowl. Usually I watch Super Bowl only to see the ads, because some of the best ads, some of the best ads play. And then now you've got me interested in pickleball, which I've watched people playing, but I've never really participated in. So
it's quite addictive, once you get into it. It doesn't look like much, but once you get into it, it's actually a lot of fun.
Okay, so I'm going to check it out. But I just wanted to wish you a very, very happy birthday, and thank you, like everybody, for all that you've given us, this community, just being with all you guys and just being part of this. I don't know, now it's been several years. I've lost count. And I loved what you said about, taking refuge in masters. So just keep coming back when something pulls you the other way. And I guess my question to you was around being an unconcerned being. It's really a work, isn't it? Because there are always like buttons which are pushed where you feel like, okay, you're getting into that reactive space. And is coming back to these teachings the only way to get past that? Like, how can you, 90% of the time, just be in that space? Because that's what would be ideal, but that's not
the real understanding is that you are 100% in that space always. It's not like in the beginning we say, oh, I need to be present, I want to be more mindful, I want to be more present. This is the beginning understanding, because the bulk of our identity is in our personality, and we are visiting presence now and again. But the beautiful shift happens when you realize that actually you're always present. You're never not present. You're never not there. And it's actually the other way around. You're making visits to your personality. You're making visits to your ego. You're making visits to your identity. That's fundamental shift. It's not like otherwise, like when I first began meditating, like I wish I could just sustain this throughout the day. Why does it only have to be for a few minutes or hours in the day? Why can't I just sustain? But then to realize that is who I am. And I deviate from that. I get lost in clouds of thought. So that fundamental shift has to happen, and it will happen. So it's not something that you have to attain. It's something that you have to uncover. This is like he said, you don't reach home. You don't come to home. You are home. So that's a fundamental thinking shift that has to happen.
Yeah, that's amazing, Nithya. And thank you for the Arut Perum Jyoti song. I had not heard of that master before. But when I sit in front of my altar and I actually sing that song or say the verse, it's really powerful. It's hard to explain.
Really, it's got a real powerful energy to it. And a lot of the people here have been messaging me privately and telling me how that chant has, it really has a lot of grace inbuilt into it. Ramalinga Swami, in one of the books about him, they say that when he was passing away, he said that, don't think I'm going away. I'm entering the deepest part of you. He said that I'm not going into some other dimension. He says, I have become the universe. I have become the truth. Which I think is same for all the great masters. Christ said something similar. The Buddha said something similar. So this is ultimately our destiny, is to become one with everything. Maybe not become one, to recognize that we are already one with everything. To come back to that substratum. Beautiful. I'm glad you're getting support.
Thank you, Nithya. Thank you so
my
much.
dear. Lovely. We have Simta. Simta Jindal, go ahead.
Hi Nithya, wish you a very happy birthday.
Thank you, my dear.
And I also follow Mother and Sri Aurobindo. So I'd like to share something about birthdays that Mother has said. I mean, maybe you already know since you also follow. So what Mother says that on our birthday every year, our soul goes up, to heaven, and it gains all the like the strength and the all the good wishes for the whole year. Our soul goes to heaven and gets that on our birthday. So that's something which Mother says. And it's been really nice, like being connected to you. Like before I met you, I met you like last year, I think April, May, through the flow course, Y flow course. And like before I met you, I used to, every time I met somebody who was a spiritual person, I used to ask them like, I really want to meditate, but can you guide me which meditation to do? So like, I really love your meditations. So on SoundCloud, like every day I do your meditations and it really feels very good. And apart from that, it's really nice to be guided by you, and it's really nice. Thank you so much.
I'm so glad you're getting benefited in this way. And the Mother and Sri Aurobindo are very important teachers to me. I was in a Sri Aurobindo school in the beginning of my life, and it's important for us. In fact, maybe it is a responsibility for all of us to think about how we can. We don't necessarily, it is imagination that we have to teach children. I think children already come with a very strong blueprint, and we just shouldn't mess them up too much. Actually, they'll be fine. So I think just like I was given that opportunity, maybe part of the reason I want to create a conscious community is not just for me and all of us, it's for the generations ahead. That just like I got a place where I could grow up without getting too tampered with, and a decent amount of my intuition remain intact, that we can give that gift to other children as well. So let's all think in that direction, that how can we, instead of trying to, this whole idea, we have to mold children. Mold them into what? Mold is another word for fungus. You don't have to mold them into anything. We have to just allow their original nature to remain. So thank you for sharing that.
Thank you.
Lots of love. Dolly is raising a hand. Dolly, go ahead.
Hi Nithya, happy birthday.
Thank you.
It's not been a very long journey that I've been associated, but however, having said that, I think so it has been very long. I mean that connect in the sense of teachings, in the sense of whatever you speak, and something very, very funny happens, that whenever I'm kind of de-aligning and going off track,
yeah,
you either hold a meditation or a session or a talk, and something in that talk, somewhere, something makes some sense and makes me come back to track. So thank you for that. Thank you for bringing me back to track with your teachings, and really looking forward for like lots more. I don't know why I'm feeling like crying. I really don't know why. I was absolutely fine all this while. I don't know, but something is, I don't know. I think so. I'm just very grateful and thankful for the evolution.
Thank you, Dolly. Lots of love. And may this beautiful spirit of joy and rapture fill your being, and may it fill your whole life. And may you be a light to everyone in your life. And so it is.
Thank you, and have a wonderful day. Happy birthday.
My idea of having a wonderful day is to put my phone off. Renuka's next. Renuka, go ahead.
Hi Nithya.
Hello there.
How are you? Thank you. Firstly,
अरे वाह, नमस्ते जी, घर आ गए?
A very happy birthday to you.
Thank you, my dear. आप हॉस्पिटल में थे? कब आए घर?
2 दिन पहले.
2 दिन पहले. It's so good to see you back.
Yeah, this was my gift to you to show
this
you.
is a beautiful gift. खूब ठंड लग रही है वहाँ पर दिल्ली में.
ठंड लग रही है आपको? हाँ जी. ठंड लग रही है? नहीं.
So nice. Thank you for your wishes. Thank you for your blessings.
And all the blessings.
Good to see you again soon.
So,
thanks, Renuka. How are you doing?
I'm also much better. Thank you so much. So great birthday to you.
Thank you, my dear.
Thank you for everything that you've done for us.
And all the kids. By the way, those of you who don't know, Renuka does amazing art classes, more than art, but it starts with art with children. And she really teaches them life skills in that. And so one thing she's begun is she's got these children to make donation boxes, little piggy banks, which they go and give to various homes around them. And any spare change is collected. And then all those boxes, the money is then used for some wholesome cause. So this is a really great initiative by Renuka. So Renuka, how do they find your work? If they want to send your children to it?
How do
they find your work?
They love it. I think they love it. And
by that I mean, how can people reach out to you? Is that a Facebook page or what is it?
Yeah, there's no Facebook page, but you can contact me.
Just put your number in the chat and people will reach out.
Yeah, we have a Facebook page. Yes, we do.
So
Facebook.
Windows Art and Craft?
Windows, the Art and Craft Corner.
Yeah, okay, good. Check out Renuka's amazing work.
And the children are enjoying that piggy bank thing. And yesterday I told them, I hope that project is over. Making them. They said, no, we still have 2 more to make.
So good.
And they're waiting for end of March to open it.
Right. Thank you, my dear.
Thank you so much for everything, Nithya. Thank you.
Purnima is next. Purnima, go ahead. Purnima Shah.
Hi Nithya, thank you very much for everything. Wish you many happy returns of the day. Happy birthday.
Thank you so much. Are you in Bombay?
Yeah, I'm in Bombay.
How have you been?
How are
things going for you?
Things are good. I'm really grateful to you. I'm revisiting your RISE course again, which I had downloaded as your birthday gift. You had given it to us.
Yes.
So I had completed 1 full round and now I'm doing it again.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Thank you very much. It's
Rise
awesome.
and Peace, RIP. This is a 6-month meditation course that we offered. So I'm glad you're enjoying that. And how are board games going? Purnima loves to play board games. Are you playing board games? Or not much?
They are beautiful and I'm enjoying them. I would love to play it with you.
All right, we'll play
sometime soon.
We'll play really soon. Take care.
Thank you very much and wish you again happy birthday and thank you for everything. Thank you.
Thank you, my dear. Mamta, go ahead.
Hello, happy birthday.
Hello there. Thank you.
Actually, I wanted to wish you happy birthday. The thing is, this person is never born, he's always there. So, yes, but then I met you in around June. And since then, life has really changed. From the heavy days to now the light days, it's really changed. Things do come up more, not from outside, but from inside. And they still keep me live. And it's like, I always remember your one sentence, bring it on, Ajao. And that is helping me a lot. And I've learned, you are a person, okay, spiritual to have, but then, you're more a fun person. I used to love that combination and the connection you make with the people. So that's really something which I really want to imbibe in myself from you. So thank you for that. I loved so many things, coming up when we are there into the AR session. The fun, the board games, the laughter, of course, the meditation part and everything. But then thank you for each and every moment I spent with you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mamta, and all the best for your work.
Thank you.
For helping people and supporting people, your coaching work.
Thank you.
All the best for that. Yeah, I know cake, Nalini, hang in there. You're talking as though you're going to eat the cake. Cake, kato, cake, kato. I'm gonna 2-3 more people, then we can cut the cake. Let's have Anupama next.
Hi Nithya.
Hello.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
And I would say धन्य भाग हमारे कि आप इस धरती पर पधारे. And again, I would like to thank you for being there in my tough times and otherwise also. And like you were talking about Mirambika, and I also truly believe that children have everything in them, and I think school should be that take out the beauty, what is there inside, rather than tussling them with all the nonsense. So and after listening to you and everything, all that got revived again. And my daughter is in 12th, and she's preparing to go to USA, and she's interested in arts and stuff like that. So you know what, she did everything on her own. I believed in her, and she said, I don't want to go to any expensive consultants and all that. So I'm saying this in case anyone else is in the same journey, to believe your children. Because I thought, okay, what will be the worst which can happen if I totally believe in her strength, in her, in her wisdom, and everything which she's doing for herself. So she made her portfolio herself. She made short films, and she would just tell us, "Acha, mere saath chalo is monument mein, I'm going to shoot you guys," and all that. So we just followed that. And so she applied, and everything on her own, and she's already getting acceptance letters with scholarships, and then she's writing them back कि मुझे और scholarship चाहिए. And she knows how much we can afford or not. So she's not following that, top 10 and all that. Because her way of choosing places is very unique, and she gets a feel of the places. So I thought agar nahi hoga, she'll learn a lesson, ho jayega, to she'll have confidence in herself. And I think that paid off. And thank you.
I'm amazed you all had the confidence. This is an example like exactly this, trusting your children and knowing that they have the capacity, and they may falter and fall, but that's part of their learning. Because and our role is mostly to just be like holding them from the behind, telling them we are there. If you fall, we'll help you get up. That much is all that's needed.
Yes. And nothing is at the end of this world, because I think everything is a lesson. So nahi bhi hota, to she would have done something here, or, abhi bhi we don't know if she'll go or what she decides ultimately, because she has a new boyfriend. So I don't know.
You're not supposed to tell that on the Zoom call.
Yeah.
We are being streamed live on YouTube also, by the way. Just
anyway, so so lots of these changes, it's helped me through you to deal with it in a more I look at her more as a person rather than just my daughter.
So powerful.
And in other things also, there are still many challenges, but I have learned just to be. So it's really helping me.
Yeah.
So happy birthday again. Glad you are here.
Thank you, my dear. Thank you for everything. It's been nice connecting with you this year. Krishna is next. Krishna Nag. Hi, Krishna.
Hello, Nithya. A very happy birthday. I believe this is the first time we're speaking face to face. We've messaged on Instagram.
Yes,
before.
I remember.
I just wanted to wish you all the best, and may you have a great year ahead of you.
Thank you so much. What is this filter you've put? You're like half black and white and half color.
It's actually a problem with my camera. It's very funny.
Okay, good. Interesting. Thanks, Krishna. Lots of love. And we have iPhone G. I don't know who that person is. iPhone G, do you want to unmute? Shifali, go ahead. Yeah, Shifali.
Can you see me?
Wait, let me spotlight you. Now I can see you. How are you doing?
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Miss you. We need to all catch up. And,
we do.
Thank you for, the authentic relating, gatherings and everything that you've done during the lockdown. It's really, really helped all of us in Pune here. So lots of gratitude and lots of best wishes on your special day.
Thank you, dear Shifali. Lots of love. We'll meet again now that the pandemic is calming down a little bit.
Yes,
you're going to meet again soon.
And thank you. I have got a job offer and I'm going to start next week.
Congratulations. Don't get too busy.
I might get too busy, but thank you, because I did not apply for this job. It just
Right.
fell
It just
in my
came. So
yeah.
nice. Congratulations. Is it teaching?
No, it is, the center head, managing the whole preschool.
Wow, that's amazing. Good. I hope you really enjoy it.
Thank you.
You
Thank
get to
you.
apply all your authentic leading skills, managing all the teachers.
I hope so.
All right, good.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Shefali.
And happy birthday.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Anushri, go next.
Yeah.
Hi, Anushri.
Hello, sir. It's just 1 week of knowing your teachings, and a very, very happy birthday to you. And I can't tell you, just this week has been amazing. Knowing you, knowing your teachings, they're so logical, so fall into place. And I can't thank you enough. What is the difference I have seen in my life just in a week? And I don't know how. I mean, I can't think of like how it will go if I get to know more. But it's really so easy to understand, comprehend, and to just get in the life. Thank you so much, and wish you lots of wishes and happy birthday.
Beautiful, Anushri. Lots of love. And it's so wonderful that you've discovered these teachings that resonate. And just keep growing in this. I like to say, grow in truth. Grow in truth. In the beginning, we feel that we are walking on a path. And at some point, we realize that the path is just unfolding within us. There's no one walking on any path. And it's almost like I sometimes feel it's like an ancient wish we made for ourselves. At some point, we decided we want to wake up. We want to wake up for the dream that we ourselves have spun for ourselves. So that is happening for you. And I'm very grateful to hear that it's supporting you in this way. Lots of love, Anushri. And let's hear from just 1 or 2 more people, I think. Then we'll end the call. Let's hear from Kirti. Kirti, go ahead.
Hi, Nithya. Very good morning. Happy
Good morning.
birthday.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for all the teachings and the fun-filled way of giving the gist of everything. Love you loads.
Thank you, dear. It was lovely to meet you last year at the community retreat.
Thank you.
Nalini, you want to say something?
Oh yeah, I couldn't see earlier. Somebody was talking about scholarships in US universities. Wanted to just add one thing that very recently I learned that many scholarships funds, they go waste because many students do not apply thinking that I won't be eligible for it.
Wow.
I do not meet all the criteria. So if anybody is thinking like that, especially the lady who mentioned just now, in fact, please apply even if you do not meet all the criteria. And they are sitting there to actually waiting to give you.
Wow, that's so good to know. Nalini actually teaches biology in one of the universities, so you can take it from her that this is the way it is. Anupama is saying thank you. Now even I feel like applying. Okay, thank you. Prachi, you're next, and then with that we'll close the call.
Okay. I can't see you.
I can see you. Oh, wait a minute. Why can't you see me?
Yeah, now I can see the birthday boy. Happiest birthday, Nithya.
Thank you, thank you.
And I just want to say thank you to you. You're the best gift actually to me in 2021. And I treasure it, completely. And thank you for sharing all your gifts so selflessly. I mean, it is incredible the way you are, just going ahead with your thing with pure heart. Even if we are paying for the classes, not paying for the classes, you're just, sharing it so selflessly. It is amazing to, have come across you, not just as a person, but all the teachings that you have brought along and the gifts that you share. It is, I'm so thankful. It must be some good karma of my past that, this, you came across and we met. I mean, that was something divine, and that makes me feel that miracles do happen. And I wish you all the best, and may you have best of health, wealth, and happiness.
and you touch many more lives, not just now, and many generations to come may be benefited by your teaching. God bless you.
Thank you so much. And my wish for you is that the creative energy that you feel inside of you, may it get fully expressed in many, many ways, not just one way. And may that creativity be the channel through which you touch people's lives in a very beautiful and deep way.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. Let me now cut this wonderful surprise cake that has been gifted to me. So, happy birthday to me. Happy birthday to me.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Nithya.
This is the moment.
Happy birthday to you. Bless you.
Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday to you.
You want a bite?
Take a big bite. Count.
Virtual bite.
नित्या की सालगिरह है, सालगिरह है आपको मुबारक, हम सब की यही दुआ है.
This is a very yummy cake, by the way, guys.
Nithya, please don't do that. Give us a
Please don't do that.
You're just saying it's yummy and sending us.
Aja Puna, khalo. Chalo. Thank you all. Why don't you unmute and make a big Mayurma? Mayurma is a symbol of good wishes. Take your hands up. Bring them down. Make a big heart.
Yes.
Multiply by infinity. That is huge. Come back to your heart and spread your love into the world. Mayurma. Thank you for all the love and all the blessings. And whatever you have wished for me, come back to you multiplied a million times.
Happy birthday, Nithya. Happy birthday, Nithya.
Thank you, Nithya.
Goodbye. Lots of love. Have a beautiful day.
Happy birthday,
Have a good
Nithya.
date for your
Nithya.
February Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Nithya Janmadina Ashamsagal in Malayalam. Okay.
Janamadin Midam.
Yeah, Janmadina Midam.
Thanks, Mita.